Hello, I'm Agnieszka Szczerba, the co-host of the Sherpa Search on Tech podcast. Today, our guest is Paulina Białek, CEO and co-founder of Frosty and a TEDx speaker. But before we start the conversation, I would like to say thank you for all your likes and for all your subscriptions. I'm very happy that you are here. And of course, I'm asking for more. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it right now. This is a very special conversation. We will talk about strengths in startups in Southeast Asia, about differences in startup culture between Southeast Asia and the West, and about living and doing business in Singapore.
Paulina, could you please introduce yourself and what is Frosty?
Okay, sure. My name is Paulina Białek. I'm currently the CEO and co-founder of Frosty. This is a startup. The problem that we are solving is that nowadays, 1/3 of all adults worldwide feel lonely, experience loneliness. And over 200 million people have depression nowadays. So we feel that this is a tremendous problem, which is even worse in the world of social media. Social media is even accelerating this problem, and the influencer personas. Why? Because in the virtual world, in social media, we feel like influencers are our friends, whereas this is not true. This is just the illusion. Although we know everything about them, they know nothing about us. Those are one-sided relationships, which in turn make people feel lonely, unappreciated, unrecognized, disconnected. And that's why we founded Frosty. We wanted to solve this problem for the fans who want to form meaningful relationships with their favorite influencers. However, nowadays, there is no platform that would allow them to do so. The only one type of relationships that they can buy from influencers are sex-based relationships, and only from a small percentage of influencers selling them through the NSFW channels. So so this is a short vision mission behind our company and how it all started.
And yourself, you are based in Southeast Asia, Singapore, right?
Yes, so I used to be based in Singapore, but I just moved to Thailand. But in Southeast Asian region.
How did it happen that a European girl ended up in Southeast Asia?
So my first trip to Southeast Asia was few years ago, 5-6 years ago, when I exchanged at the National University of Singapore. And just after that, I had this plan or dream that I will come back here and live in Singapore. And when I graduated, I started my first professional job in a venture capital fund, also based in Singapore, covering the whole region of Southeast Asia. So this is how I ended up being so active in this region. However, in the meantime, I also founded my own foundation, Lotus League Foundation, and our goal was to help Polish, but also European entrepreneurs to expand to Southeast Asian region. So our mission was to show the potential of those markets, because in Poland or in Central Eastern Europe, the first market that entrepreneurs think in terms of expansion is obviously United States. But Southeast Asia also has a lot to offer. So that's why we founded the foundation. We've organized lots of events, which goal was to show how promising those markets are and how successful European entrepreneurs can be. Actually, there are many and more successful stories of European entrepreneurs in Southeast Asia, and we hope that there will be even more and more in the coming years.
So, as I understand, Frosty Whale is an NFT trader, so to say. NFT exchange.
No, not really. So on our platform, we connect fans with their favorite influencers. So it's all about the relationship. The product that we are selling on the platform are relationships. But how to sell relationship? It's not that obvious. So there are actually two steps. First step is that on our platform, fans can buy unique digital assets created by their favorite influencers. So when you own a unique asset, basically it's when you win the auction, imagine that you are winning the auction for a unique asset. The same mechanism that exists in the physical world, that you become the winner, you become the only person in the world that owns this particular item. So this is the chance to get recognition, attention, to be seen by the influencer, to enjoy the sort of connection and the bond that is being built between two parties, the creator of this unique asset and the current owner, the fan. So this is the first step. The second step on our platform are closer connection, deeper interaction through our chats. So on our platform, fans and influencers can connect, they can chat. And for this purpose, we also use AI because influencers have limited time. So on our platform, they can train their AI, and AI can talk to fans, establish relationships, and give them the attention and connection they are looking for.
What I'm getting at is that is it that you see any particular trends, particular characteristics of NFTs on the Asian market versus the Western market?
Sure. So in Southeast Asia, I think that we have to start from the demographics, but also economic development of this region. So first of all, Southeast Asian countries, the majority of Southeast Asian countries like Thailand, Vietnam, not Singapore, obviously, but Indonesia, Philippines, those are developing countries. So people are still not rich. The middle class is growing, but many people are still poor. Having said that, they are looking for ways how to make money. And they are hungry, they are motivated, they are ambitious, they are looking for opportunities to get out of this hole, to elevate their careers or elevate their standard of living in this sense. So this is the first thing. The second thing is that this is very young region. 57% of the whole population are Gen Z plus millennials. So having said that, this is very also tech-savvy population. Gaming is thriving, entertainment sector is thriving, streaming. So in this environment, very young, innovative, tech-savvy, such products or such technologies like blockchain and the NFT have very high potential, and that's why it was so popular and so many people were enthusiastic about it in Southeast Asia. And like a lot of NFT trading, which was seen as the opportunity, although very high risky, but still opportunity to maybe make some money. And like some people made some money, and also other products or platforms like play to earn games gained a lot of popularity because this was another way of making money, potentially making money combined with gaming, which is so popular in this region in the first place. So so I would say that the market was very enthusiastic about the NFT and blockchain, and definitely much more enthusiastic than I have ever seen in Poland. I feel that in Poland, NFT or like blockchain crypto never got much traction. People were always a bit reluctant, and I even have seen a ranking with the NFT enthusiasm all over the world. Asian countries were quite high, but Poland was taking the last place. So it also shows that that's our business.
And European countries?
Yes,
like share money between Poland and Southeast Asia?
I don't remember those countries. I just it just caught my attention that Poland was taking the last place, unfortunately. I believe that this is maybe because of some of the scams that had place, also in the creator economy space that maybe were not needed, but somehow the negativity is quite high. So we wouldn't be that willing to do the same company, to do the same startup targeting Polish markets or European markets. We see much higher potential here in Asia.
How would you convince a European founder to enter Southeast Asian market?
I feel that it also depends on the sectors that you are operating in. So because of the young population and the growing middle class in Southeast Asia, definitely consumer tech startups have huge potential. Startups related to creator economy, gaming, entertainment industry, streaming, crypto, blockchain, AI also. Yeah, so AI, VR, those are popular industry sectors, technologies here in this part of the world. So it's not that I wouldn't say that every single European company has potential to thrive here, but definitely this is market worth consideration. And yeah, like this is what we're actually trying to change in our foundation, that entrepreneurs not only look at the US as the potential market for the expansion, but also consider Southeast Asia because it might make sense for some businesses.
And what is your experience in working with Southeast Asian or Asian founders? Is it different?
So actually, I do not have Asian co-founders. The only co-founder that I have is American. So I'm like European, he's American. So we are, none of us is Asian, but we have Asian employees. All of them are Asians and also C-level, some of them part of the management board. So yeah, so I definitely work a lot with Asians, and I love working with people, so I wouldn't say that there is a huge difference between Asians or Europeans, or that I enjoy working more with Europeans, for example, than with Asians. But one very important difference is that Asians are very respectful because hierarchy matters a lot to them. So if I am the CEO, there are very rare cases that they will disagree with me. Actually, I think that we've never had a situation that they would disagree, that they would tell me openly that they feel that my idea is not the best idea. So this is the difference because they are not that open. I feel that in Europe, I used to do that a lot. If I wasn't agreeing with my supervisor, I would go and tell him or her straightforward that, I don't agree with that. I feel that I have a better idea. This is something that I'm definitely not experiencing here. If there is a project and if I'm making a decision, they respect the decisions. They will not argue with me. They will follow my management because hierarchy matters to them. There are advantages and disadvantages of that. I like when people are creative and can suggest openly, can have their own recommendations or their own ideas. I really value that. So that's why in my company, I try to make them feel comfortable so they will speak out. But it's not easy and it's not something natural for Asians to do. They are not used to being creative, and nobody is expecting them to be. In the typical corporation structure, they just are supposed to follow the management decisions, do the tasks they are asked to do, and that's it. So yeah, so I would say that this is the difference. But I feel that there are some advantages, disadvantages of that.
Do you have any tricks how to overcome it?
we are able to get the right balance. But I feel that for a co-founder, I'm very happy that my co-founder is American, because we can be very, very open to each other and openly discuss everything, and like no need to hide, or I just don't have this feeling that maybe he's not telling me something, but he has something different in mind, etc. So definitely it's helping with the communication. And with Asians, yeah, like so far I feel that we are doing great, and I like working with them. Very talented people.
Right. Do you have any cases to share that shows pros and cons of Asian business culture versus the
Sure.
Western culture?
Yeah. So, for example, as I mentioned, hierarchy matters a lot to them. So I feel that hierarchy also in the sense that if you are older, you are older. So the younger ones, it's not okay if I'm younger and you are older and we are both Thai, for example. It's not okay, not culturally acceptable for a younger person to disagree with the older one. So it doesn't happen, but for foreigners have sort of like special treatment. So although if I'm younger than partners I'm doing business with, and I disagree with something, I can say it openly, and it will not be seen as disrespect or disrespect in this sense. So for me, so far I think that it's making things easier. Also, for example, when we send an email and we want to discuss partnership with a company in Thailand or Vietnam, in most cases, the CEO will reply and will want to meet me directly. So if they see that foreigner and the foreign company, because we do business mainly in Thailand right now, and then the next market is Vietnam, but we are still a Singaporean company and I'm not Asian. So like for them, it's sort of like, yeah, they feel that they have to treat us well. And very often the doors are open. So I find it quite easy to get access to even, highly ranked people in the company. It's not that difficult for me, as I believe it might have been if I was, for example, a Thai founder. Yeah, so this is one thing. Also, relationships and connections matter a lot. And although they matter basically everywhere, I feel that in Asia it's way, way stronger. So it's very difficult to get things done without it. People really have to trust you to be willing to work with you. It's not about, very often it's not about the money. You can come, you can offer money, but they will still be reluctant to get into this cooperation. They have to trust you, because there is another thing, which is they don't like conflict situations. They don't like problems. They really care about their reputation. So that's why, if they don't know you, if they don't trust you, there might be some cases later that there will be problems, that there will be stressful situations, that maybe some reputational damage. So those are things that they are trying to avoid. And that's why the relationships and trust are very important to them. And from our perspective, it might be also difficult, because in startups, obviously, there are many problems. There is a very stressful atmosphere sometimes, because we don't have many people. A lot of things have to be done. So this is definitely not stable environment, and some problems may arise. So I also have to be aware of that and try to manage such situations in advance, so our team don't feel stressed, pressured. They don't feel that, oh, well, maybe some unhealthy atmosphere in this company, because if they feel this way, they will definitely resign and find a job that they feel more comfortable in. So that's another case. And another one that I can think about is fake it until you make it. So very popular, and And it works to some extent in the United States. And I feel that, if you follow this approach, so meaning that you claim that you have something, but actually maybe you don't, you try to do it manually. I can imagine such a situation. But in Asia, I wouldn't try it. In Asia, it's like if you are not clear, if you are not transparent, it's very easy to lose trust. And if you lose trust or reputation, it will be very difficult to get it back. So also from the startup perspective, which, sometimes this approach might help you accelerate a bit faster, but in Asia, it's very difficult to do things this way. So fake it until you make it, I would say that it doesn't really work. And maybe one more thing that I can see here is that people are not straightforward. So people are not straightforward, and I cannot be too straightforward as well. So for example, if I asked someone to do something like a task and I'm unhappy with the results because it's not done correctly and a lot of things have to be fixed. Normally in Europe, I would say, look, this is incorrect, fix it, and try not to do the same mistake again because we are losing time. And most probably I would be more open. I would say it right away, just to save time. We are all busy. But here in Asia, I have to be very polite, kind, and try not to hurt them. So even if something is done completely wrong, I cannot say it openly. I would rather go this way that, thank you so much for your effort. That's good that you spent a lot of time. I see that you tried, that you did your best, but let's think about maybe this part. Maybe we can fix it a little bit because I have slightly different idea. So you can see the difference, that it's taking longer to manage those relationships, and you cannot be that straightforward. I even heard about the situation that my friend had. He's also a foreigner, and he said to his tech team, the task was completely wrongly done, and he said it openly, that's wrong. He was a bit angry that it took this guy so much time, but was completely wrong. And I feel that in Europe, what he said was totally acceptable. I would even prefer if someone told me like that, then I know that I have to improve, that I have to fix things. But this employee resigned the next day. So he, for him, it was such a stressful situation, sort of losing face, that he was told that openly that something is incorrect, that it has to be fixed, etc. So yes, I feel that this lack of straightforwardness is sort of difficult sometimes to manage. But this is because of the culture, and I guess that doing business here, we have to adapt to that.
This would
no
be
other way.
really stressful to me, being a boss in such culture.
Sometimes, I can understand that because startup founders are also very stressed. They are under a lot of pressure. Things have to be done quickly. And this is stressful environment. Startups are not easy. This is not, stable and calm environment where we work 8 hours per day. Very often it's longer. And yeah, so that's why, founders are also stressed, and sometimes they may express this stress too strongly, and then employees can get feel hurt, and yeah.
At the end of the day, is the overall environment more stressful or less stressful?
For me, I would say, no. I try to make it as little not stressful at all. This is what I'm trying to do, because I know that if there is a bad atmosphere, if people feel stressed, at the end of the day, this is not good for the company either. So I'm trying to have like good relationships with our employees, be sure that they have good relationships between each other, that they feel happy doing what they are doing. Although the tasks are sometimes difficult and very time consuming, I see them often. I work almost all the time, so I'm on Slack and I see who is available. Obviously, we don't ask them to work more than 8-9 hours. This is what they have in the contract, but as we work, as their job is more task-based, so they work on KPIs, so we have some deadlines, etc. I see them often working in the evening, and nobody is asking them to do so. Like even like yesterday, I wanted to go to sleep, and they were like texting me, "Oh, what are we doing now?" And and all those things, and it's like, yeah, they are very hardworking. Nobody is asking them to work that hard, but they are also very excited about the job, about the opportunities, about the nice atmosphere, the fact that they are developing in the company together with the company, that they are growing, that the business is growing. So I feel that yeah, I'm trying to keep people motivated. This is my first goal: motivated, inspired, so they can give back to the company, and together we can achieve the success at the end of the day.
And the very last question on my part, how is life and work in Southeast Asia, and your both experiences, as I understand, both Singapore and Thailand? I don't know if you're in Bangkok or in some smaller place, but it's, let's say, I think it's very probably interesting for the people watching us, if they, maybe started considering watching it, to move over there.
So our company is based in Singapore, and I used to live there before. But why I moved here was because Thailand was always our first target market. Singapore is small market, especially in the creator economy space. It really matters because we are a B2C company. So for us, Thailand is more promising at the moment. So that's why I moved to Thailand. Also, our team is based across Southeast Asia. So we have team in Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, Singapore. So it's very international team. So that's why we mainly work remotely. We do not go to the office, but we have office in Singapore, and right now we are going to have one in Bangkok as well. Life in Singapore is definitely great, and from the startup perspective or entrepreneur perspective, we got a lot of help from the Singapore government, which I really appreciated, because I had some experience with, for example, grants in Poland, a grant application that you can get a grant. So how do they do this in Singapore was quite astonishing to me, because recently they just started emailing us that they would like to have a call with us. And I was like very busy, so I was like not really eager to schedule the call, because some government agency is texting, emailing us that they want to have a call and they want to discuss our business, how they can help us. So okay, they were emailing us a few times. Then I decided to have this call, and we had the call, and they were very specific. They were very prepared. They knew what we are doing, like what's the company structure, what kind of what kind of grants we basically can apply for. And
Wow.
just after the call, they follow up with the list of the grants that we are eligible for. And they even provided us a mentor to make sure that we get this grant. So I was like so shocked, because we got a mentor. And I thought that we have to pay the mentor, right? This is very popular in Poland, that if you are filling out the application for a grant, sometimes you are hiring
some advisors, let's say, advisory.
Exactly. So it was basically the same, because she was like the advisor, but she's paid by this governmental agency, and she said, like, we do not have to pay her anything. This is just her job to help us get this grant, and just so how it works, like we didn't even wanted to apply for this grant, because we didn't know about it. So they contacted us to tell us that we are eligible for the grant, and then they gave us the advisor, the mentor. So yeah, so from this perspective, we are getting a lot of support, and also in this Web3 or NFT space, they are running different surveys. They are contacting us to ask how we are doing, what problems we might have. Maybe there is some like recruitment issues that they can help us recruit some employees. So they also have good network and good contacts and can really help on different fields, such as like brand applications, recruitment, investor network, etc. So yeah, so I feel that the startup ecosystem in Singapore is very developed, and a lot of help and support that we are getting as a Singaporean company. And on the other hand, everything is digital, online. I don't even have to be in Singapore to really get all this support. I can do everything online. Everything related to the company, from registration through like accounting, like everything they would need. They have like never asked us to do something in person. So this is also yeah, so this is also a huge facilitation, especially for the startups.
And in Thailand?
In Thailand, it's more difficult. Definitely, it's way more difficult to open up the company and manage operations here, especially that you need a Thai co-founder. So they have to be some shareholding Thais have to have a shareholding in a company as well. So it's not that easy as it is in Singapore, that you can basically open up a company as foreigners or PR, permanent residents. In Thailand, there is some support, and actually more and more, but it's not that developed as Singapore is.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The startup ecosystem has been developing in Singapore for the last 25 years, let's say. In Thailand, it's much younger, but there are some Thai startups and some accelerators, incubators, more and more corporate venture capital funds, which active on the market. So yeah, so something is going on, although we are not actively involved in those programs.
Would you advise Singapore as the first location for the first step for somebody who's considering to move to Asia or to Southeast Asia?
Yes, definitely. So yeah, so like for example, we've mentioned Thailand, right? So I'm aware of some Thai companies that were registered in Thailand in the first place, but then they are moving their headquarters to Singapore. So Singapore is sort of like a hub, and because of all this facilitation, support, digitization, it's way easier to run the company that is registered in Singapore. And also from the investment perspective, investors also prefer to invest in companies registered in Singapore, because lots of investors are Singaporean investors, and their funds are also registered in Singapore. So it sort of makes sense to invest in Singaporean companies. So definitely I would advise, for example, European funders that are thinking about Southeast Asia as the market for their business, to be based in Singapore, to set up the company in Singapore and operate from Singapore, treating Singapore as a hub for the whole region.
Paulina, thank you so much for this conversation. I find it extremely informative and a blueprint for somebody who's considering even, you know, very initially to start in Asia in general, not to mention even Southeast Asia. As I said to you offline, I find this dichotomy between technology development in the West and technology development in Asia an extremely important, extremely crucial. to watch and to draw inspiration on both sides nowadays. So I think it's vital for our audience to watch our conversation.
There's one more thing that I forgot about regarding Southeast Asia, which is also crucial for our company, the competitive landscape. So the competition here in Southeast Asia, I find it, like not that strong. For example, in our space, in the creator economy space, the vast majority of startups in this space come from the United States. So I came across, like dozens of companies that are targeting creators. Here in Southeast Asia, we basically do not have that many competitors, maybe just a few, and usually they are local companies. So they do not have ambition to become a global company. Having said that, for example, for influencers, this is good or bad. The good thing behind being a local company is that you are serving the local market. So you have, for example, local payment methods, you have local language, it's very localized, which makes it easier for people to use. On the other hand, if, for example, influencers want to grow with the company, want to tap into international audience, into global audience, they need to collaborate with a global company that has ambition for a global market that can also, that they can also benefit from, and this way expand their fan base. So, and there are some global companies, but they come from the US and they've never targeted Southeast Asia as their market. So very often they don't have this localization, and they don't have local language, they don't have local payment methods, which on the other hand makes people very makes them very difficult for people to use. So having said that, I feel that if you can create a combination of being a global company but with localization here in Southeast Asia for each single market, I think that it can be very powerful. And especially in our space, I do not see many companies doing this, targeting Southeast Asian markets and really focusing on the potential, the huge potential that this market has. This is for us a tremendous opportunity, because we can really make a difference. And if I was doing the same company in the United States, I would already have most probably 100 competitors, but like we would be like really fighting for the same audience. Here in Southeast Asia, nobody is really fighting for these influencers, which makes it way easier for us to run our business, to do business in this part of the world, especially that the population is very young, people are really talented, creative, and hungry, motivated, because those are still developing markets. So so like in terms of competition, I feel that if you can figure it out how to run a company here, you can be really successful and don't have to fight another 100 companies that are doing basically the same.
Yeah, that sounds really attractive for a founder.
Yes, but those markets are definitely not easy. And I've been here for the last 5 years, but I'm still learning. And yes, for us, for Europeans, it's definitely culturally, it's definitely closer to the United States, to understand their mentality, to understand their culture, than to understand Asia. And Southeast Asia is another game than East Asia. Japan, Korea, China, those are totally different markets. And again, so even for us being Southeast Asian companies, it doesn't mean that Southeast Asia, in the first place, Singapore company, then our first market is Thailand, then we'll have to expand to Vietnam. So this is like expansion market by market, country by country. Of course, in the United States, you have one whole big market, which in some sense is better. But on the other hand, I believe that here in Southeast Asia, if you know how to do business and can figure out every single country, you can be a very successful company and build a business that will be even bigger, because actually the population is much higher, almost 700 million people who are getting richer and richer, and the middle class is growing and a lot of young people. So I feel very, very optimistic regarding this region, especially in the social media space.
Keeping my fingers crossed then. Paulina,
Thank you so much.
hope it's not our last talk on this channel, and have a great week ahead.
Have a great weekend, and thank you so much for the invitation. It was a great pleasure to talk to you today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to Sherpa Search on Tech. If you have enjoyed the show, please subscribe to our show wherever you listen. Thanks again. The Sherpa Search on Tech podcast is a production of Sherpa Search, an executive search firm specializing in the tech industry, helping hire the right people for expert and managerial positions, and advising how to build and develop long-lasting, high-performing IT teams. If you would like to learn more, reach out to us at maciej.szczerba@sherpasearch.tech or visit our website sherpasearch.tech. See you next time.